What's up, y'all? How's it going? Please excuse me from coughing because I am kind of sick. All right, so this video is going to be for those of you that want to do damage. All right, so you've been looking at people's YouTube videos and you're wondering, man, where are you putting your skill points? What type of gear are you wearing? Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to cover all that right now. So as you can see, I am in damage roll. But as far as gear, I am wearing healer gear because I am a healer. So this will still apply. You'll just do more damage than me with DPS gear versus healer gear. But either way, everything still applies. And if you're using a weapons build, it will still apply even for weapons because might and precision are almost the same thing. So precision is just how you deal damage with your weapons, which is why I don't understand the point of the hybrid, but we'll get into that in a moment. So since I'm focusing on might because I'm using superpowers, might base is just your base damage. Same thing with precision. Precision is the base damage for your weapons. So this applies to both, or if you're focusing on one, whichever. The more might or precision you have, the more base damage you do without crits. Okay, so getting back into that, like I said, I am wearing healer gear. I am above 300 because I'm trying to get to the Static Shock DLC as fast as possible. So I am doing this as fast as possible. For those of you that want to get more skill points, let's cover that really quick. So you're going to go into your deeds tab because people are still asking how to get more skill points. And I'm going to show you the way that I've done it the fastest, which is by going to classic game and doing your solos. So if you do your solos, and as you see, all this green is from me completing all these feats. The easiest ones you can do, no matter what you're doing, is to not use consumable items or your supercharge ability. Do not equip those. Make a separate DPS loadout that gives you healing or a shield to mitigate damage. Do not use your soda colas. Do not use your consumable items. Do not use your supercharges to heal you or to give you shields. Unequipped all that stuff. All right. And then the other one is just not die during solos. So those like the easiest ones to do. You can do all those all the way back to tier 1. You can do those from the start of the game. Creating a brand new character. If you create a brand new character, just don't equip your soda cola. That's what I do. I unequip my colas and I never use my supercharges when I'm in instances. So like when you go to the lighthouse for the Joker and for Batman and stuff, going into the lighthouse or helping Catwoman fight Huntress, all that stuff, all those instances where you can replay them later in your T1 stuff, do not use your colas and you will get more skill points. Same thing for duos. Duos are the same thing. Just beat the duo. Don't die. Don't use consumables. Don't use your supers. It's the exact same thing. And then the better you get at it, the faster you can do it, where you can do it in under a certain amount of time and you get more skill points. For alerts, just explore everywhere and then try to do them as fast as possible. Of course, exploring is easier. So just going through the whole mission the first time, you'll unlock skill points. Same thing with raids. Raids is also the exact same, just completing it by getting through all the areas. And then, of course, finding people or just queuing up with people at night usually is what I find, depending on where you live. At night, everybody's on, so you can queue up things and get done within like less than an hour. And then that gives you more skill points. All right. So getting back into it, I have 104 skill points. I used to play on PlayStation. Now I'm on PC. So unfortunately, I don't have any of my PlayStation characters. But this is a good way for me to show you guys how to put points in the right places. So if you're using pure weapons build, you want to put points into your focus of weapons expert. If you're not using pure weapons, I hate hybrid. Don't use it unless you really need the dominance, resto, or vitality. But if you're just using pure superpowers, focus on your damage superpowers because it gives you the 25% power regeneration and the 10% might. All right, so because I am might based, that's what I'm going to focus on. So we're going to do Ionic Drain at base with no skill points used. As you can see in DPS roll, I did 42,570 total damage in 7 hits with Ionic Drain. Now, I'm using Ionic Drain because it shows you individually all the hits back to back. So that way you can see how inconsistent this game is with damage. It is vastly just inconsistent with damage. So on the lowest of lows, I hit for 5,789. On the highest was 6,349 damage. So out of 14 hits, that was my lowest of lows to my highest of highs. So roughly I'm in the range of, I would say, 5,700 to 6,400 on the high end. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put a point into superpowered. So the focus superpowered button, bam, we got 10% base crit. We were doing 42,500 to 42,900, almost 43,000. We're probably going to do 45,000 off the same move. So Ionic Drain, we landed a crit, which is going to throw out the numbers. But 48,000 was what we did with the one crit. I'll talk about the crit later. Without the crit, we did 47,640. So as you see, our base damage now has jumped up. Before we were at 5,900, but same thing, 5,900, 5,700 was our lowest of lows. And our highest was 63, 64-ish. Now our base has increased to where our lowest is, from what I'm seeing, 6,500 is our low, which is mid 6,000s, to our high being 7,000, because we literally hit 7,000 on one of the hits. And then we hit a crit for 8,000. So how do we increase our damage from here? You would think keep increasing your base, which would be your might. You're wrong. Don't put points into that, honestly, at all. And I'm not telling you that to like cap you or something, or like give you bad advice. Do not focus on that. If you really want to do damage, focus on your crit chance. So a lot of people, what is with this UI? A lot of people, weird UI. A lot of people say that they only have like 21 skill points. If you only have 21 skill points, I advise investing that into your crit chance, and I'll show you why. So we're going to put 10 points into crit chance. All right. We're going to go back to Ionic Drain. And as you see, we did 2 crits, probably for, I'm not even looking, I'm going to say, where are we at before? 47. So 49. We're almost at 50,000. So we're at 49,000 with 2 crits. Let's do it again. We did 2 more crits, so it'll probably be like 48, 49,000. No, 50,000. Where do we hit higher? Oh, higher crit. Okay. Don't know why. This game is so inconsistent. Like I said, inconsistent with damage. Doesn't make sense. Anyway, so we've now hit 50,000. How do we hit 50,000? Because we're doing more crits. If we don't hit any crits, we'll be at 49,000. 46. This is so weird. Anyway, like I said, vastly inconsistent with the damage in this game. So if you do more crits, you're going to do more damage. So let's put all the points into crit chance. So we're at 20 points of crit chance, which is 11% increase in crit chance, not crit damage, crit chance. So we did 3 crits. We're at 51,900. So as you saw before, we were at 42 on the low end without any points in anything. We were at 42,000. Now we're at 51,000. 3 crits again. But as you notice, with more crit chance, for some reason has increased our crit damage, which makes no sense because we have no points in crit damage, but we've increased in crit damage. So before, on the low end, our crit damage was at 79, and the high at the time before then was 84.90. So now our base has increased, has a low of 79, that's still, but going up to 87. So now we're hitting 87 on crit damage, right? So looking at the stats, how do we improve it? Well, we increase our crit damage. So let's put 10 points into crit damage and see how much we go up. I'm guessing, knowing this game because I've been playing it so long, I'm going to go up to somewhere around 9,000 on crit damage, which will put me close to 60,000 if I land a crit. Yep, so we hit 4 crits for 9,276, 9,251, 9,845, and 9,801, which put us close to 60,000 damage. See? So, without a calculator, you can see that it's increasing your damage. So that's how you start doing more and more damage. Now, with crit chance and crit damage increase, we can consistently do 50,000 with Ionic Drain. Ionic Drain is not the best move in the world, but I'm using it for demonstration purposes. Look, we even hit a crit for 10,000. So how do we increase our crit even further? Just more crit damage. This is where you're putting your points. So let's put another 10 points in for demonstration purposes. So we're at 20 and 20. So if we land a crit, it'll be for 10,000 plus. Yep. So 10,000 is now our base. 11,000 was our highest crit. So we did 3 crits for a total of 30,000 on crits. So now we're literally scratching. We're literally scratching now 60,000. So that's how you increase your damage. But I'm going to do an experiment with you guys. All right. So since we're here, we've got our base up higher. So we're doing higher base damage. We're doing really good damage with our crits. Let's dump the rest of the 60 points into our might. So if we dump the 63 points into our might, you would think that now our base damage, we'd be hitting for like 14,000 on crit, right? No. So now you're still only 1,000 higher. So now we're consistently at 11,000 instead of 14, 15,000. But if you notice, our base damage is still consistently the same. It hasn't changed. So we're still hitting for the 50,000 range, where we haven't gone up to the 70,000 range without crits. We're still hitting at the 50,000 range without crits. And even with that one crit, we were still in the 50,000 range. We should be way higher at the 70 to 80,000 range off of Ionic Drain from increasing our base damage, where we're doing 7,000 a hit. All right. That's what you would think. But no, the problem is that might and precision down here do not do as much damage as crit does. Crit is where you're going to want to put your damage, your points for your damage. Sorry. So while your gear is going to increase your base naturally as you move up in combat rating, where you should be putting your skill points is in whatever focus you're using, and then crit chance, crit damage. And then look, now we hit a crit for 13,000 because we filled out our crit damage. Let's do it again. No crit. For how much? 46. So now we're doing crits for 13,000 when we couldn't hit 13,000 before with a higher might. So overall, this is what you're looking for. once you have so many extra points and you've maxed out your crit chance and your crit damage, then come in here and increase your might. And then you'll start doing close to 15,000 in crit because you're raising your base damage up, which, like I said, is really inconsistent because even though we're doing less than 7,000, if you look at the combat tab, we're doing less than 7,000 on damage, but our crits are at 14. So it's balancing it out in some weird way. This game is just very weird, okay, when it comes to damage. So try not to be harsh on yourself if you're not able to crack those millions of damage tiers like you want to. But just keep in mind that what you want to do is focus on your crit chance, crit damage, if you're focusing on damage, if you want to be a good DPS, and then put points into might later on, if that's something you really want to do. But crit chance, crit damage is where you should focus first and foremost. And this goes for other damage types as well. Healers deal damage, trolls deal damage. So if you've already filled out your crit stuff and you want to do more damage as a healer or a troll, put points into your crit damage and you'll do more damage. You know, this stuff down here doesn't really matter too much outside of dominance, because dominance is how your shields scale to absorb damage. Is based off your dominance. So if you're a healer using shields, using a lot of shields, put points into dominance. If you're a controller, putting points into dominance will increase your shield damage, and it will also increase the effectiveness of your debuffs. So if you're a debuff troll and you're not just putting out power like crazy, you're actually debuffing the enemies to help the DPS do more damage and to help you do more damage, put points into dominance. All right. But that's it for this video. Just wanted to make something really quick. I hope this wasn't too long for most of you. But in general, that's what you want to do, is put points into your crit chance and your crit damage. And that is how you will increase your damage output overall. I'm not even using the best loadout, and I can guarantee you that I can hit over 500,000 in a couple moves. Like, let's just do it. All right. So just in that amount of time, I'm way over 300,000 damage. 564,181 points of damage in 85 hits. So that's 500,000 right there. And I'm in healer armor, which should tell you that if you were in DPS gear, you would be doing way more damage than me. The other things that can increase your damage are things like your trinkets, which give you bonus might and precision for those of you using weapons. Of course, there are artifacts that can increase your might and precision. And then your consumables, your special consumables, like your ultimates, they give you might and precision. And then there's that one item, the compound omega, that also gives you might and precision. So looking at all that, the other thing that you can use is armor slots, which aren't really used too much anymore, but they can give you a increased amount of might or precision, dominance, vitality, restoration. You can create those at R&D stations, but if you want to increase your damage, that's what you're looking for. So sorry, this was a 20-minute video. Just wanted to get everything out in the open. That is it for me. I hope this helped you guys out. I hope this answered your questions about how to increase your damage, how to do more damage. It's not based on your loadout. You don't have to copy someone on YouTube for all their skills and try to do exactly what they're doing. It does not matter what your loadout is, as long as you're hitting the enemy and you have enough crit chance and crit damage, plus your armor being at a high enough level for whatever content you're doing, you're fine, because they're going to buff you or cap you anyway for each instance So yeah, like I said, it doesn't matter. But that's it for me. I'm out. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I'm sick. See y'all later. If you want any help, let me know. I'll make more videos. Peace out.